This program is brought to you by the Formula One Powerboat Association.
Welcome to round 5 and effectively the midway point of the South African Formula One Powerboat Series. We're here at the North End Lake in Port Elizabeth, right next to one of the proposed 2010 World Cup soccer stadiums. The weather is great today, but the wind is going to be a factor that will keep the pilots at the top of their game. Driving in convoy through the streets of Port Elizabeth are the Formula One pilots, their crews and their families as well. This gives the local community an opportunity to have a closer look at these powerful Formula One powerboats. One of the local pilots, Brendan Kelly from Team Remax, is looking for some good results here at his home Grand Prix. Back waterside, and the crowd's already watching the practice. And there's a red flag on the far side of the course, and Bruce Repsol has flipped his boat, riding for Team Mario's Marine, and his crew managed to get the boat back on the trailer just before it sinks.
I think it was probably a mix-up between driver error and mechanical failure. We came out of the corner, it started porpoising. I tried to back off, the throttle never backed off and the boat just took off. I watched the wheel go around from inside the boat, and when it landed, when all the dust settled, it was over. Due to boat being irreparable for the weekend, we will be out, unfortunately. We have been offered a boat by Brendan Kelly, thank you very much, but I think we will give it a miss for this weekend. We did a lot of work on the engine in preparation for this weekend. And we were really hoping to go out there and give a bit of a hiding to a lot of the people. They say it happens you get two pilots that are out there. It's either those that have crashed or those that will crash. I guess I'm now part of the first group. And I definitely don't want to do it again. That's very ugly.
Onto the time trials, and this will decide the grid positions for the first race. Boats already launching and adrenaline will start pumping. First out, qualifying in 11th place, is Andre Kemp Jr. for horizontal and vertical drilling.
I wasn't taking two chances, the conditions not fine. It's a bit windy. I don't want to take a chance on the corner like Brett. He broke his boat on the left hand side. And I had a crack on my boat, so leaking water inside my boat. So it's not taking chances.
Qualifying in 10th place for Shillenge is Clifford Momberg in a time of 42.60 seconds. Clifford Momberg qualified 10th, but not without incident. Tell us about that.
Yeah, don't call a P windy city for nothing. I had a gust of wind and it picked me up a bit. Almost went over, but then I decided to calm down the second heat. So 10th is a good place for me after what happened.
How'd the heart feel?
It's beating better now, slower.
Qualifying in 9th place is Brett Stewart for Stewart River Estate in a time of 41.75, but not without incident. Oh, that has got to be the save of the year. That time of 41.75 is including that horrific moment, and guaranteed he's going to have a heart transplant after that. That boat is seriously damaged, and the crews are going to have to work quickly to get the trailer in the water so that the boat doesn't sink. And the rescue team is left to pick up the remnants of the boat. Brett Stewart, one of the most awesome saves we've seen in a long time, but you've got to tell us what goes through your mind and possibly any other bit of physiology at a moment like that.
Yes, I don't know. I felt it coming towards the end of the straight. I was hitting the limiter, so I could feel the boat starting to get a bit airy. And then it just felt getting very, very light. And I thought, okay, it felt pretty stable. So I thought as soon as I land, I'm gonna dig it in because I was right by the corner. And as soon as I heard that, I just heard a thump, and then the boat just started sliding. I saw that jetty coming close, and there was nothing I could do. Managed to just slide it around. Eventually brought it back, and the people saying get onto the trailer because I think Anton's trailer was in the water. Put it on there, luckily before it sank. So lucky.
All right, and the thoughts that went through your mind at that moment or the aftermath?
I didn't actually realize. In Witbank I had a similar situation of a spin out, and I thought maybe the same thing's happening, but then I started realizing something's going wrong here. There's something wrong. Looked out the rearview mirror and I could see there was just spray coming from the back of the boat because I couldn't actually see the sponson was gone. And then I just looked at the bank and people were just saying, come. Then I realized, no, then I knew there's trouble.
A time of 41.31 seconds will give Timmy Featherston Hoare 8th place on the starting grid.
Look, it's a one of those things again. We're coming back, got some bugs in the boat, we're looking at what's going on. Having a big handling problem, especially coming down towards the start control tower, and I think once we can get that right, the top guys are going to have a real problem. We're now putting on our new boxes that we got from the States, and I just hope to hell we can get the handling right and we can be on top.
Andre Kemp Sr. racing for horizontal and vertical drilling takes 7th place in a time of 40.90 seconds.
Andre Kemp, a good run out there, but why didn't you get your second run in?
The enemy on the water, his name is, I think, Andre Kemp Jr. He came and he bumped my pickle off. He wanted to call his dad something or ask something. And all of a sudden I told him, whoa, he come and take my pickle off. I couldn't do a second round in the time trials. So that's my son's newest style, to take his dad off the water.
Lining up in 6th place on the grid will be hometown boy Brendan Kelly racing for a Remax. His time 40.49.
I battled a bit both heats of qualifying. My trim got stuck in the up position, so I was basically going 3/4 throttle. If I'd gone and pushed it anymore, I would have blown the boat over. I had one or two hairy moments coming down the back straight. We have got this little plate on the motor that shifted and actually jammed it, so we're going to sort that out now. And yeah, if we sixth today, I'm confident podium finish tomorrow.
Remax pilot Alexander Jager in a time of 39.63 gives her 5th place on the grid. Alexander Jager qualified 5th, but should have been 2nd. What happened?
Now with the first lap, I'm at the end. I missed the last buoy, and therefore disqualified with my first time trial. The second time trial, it's good. I think 5th is a good position to start. From there, I can only work my up to a better position tomorrow during the race.
Fellow Remax entry Anton de Jager in boat number 3, a time of 39.41 gives him 4th place.
Yeah, I'm not happy. The boat's going as fast as it can. We're hitting rev limiter. It's really going. I think I made a couple of mistakes. Mistakes up at the top buoy, at the bottom buoy. I got something to do with my line still. I've put in a new steering system. Getting used to that still. I think I can pretty much take off a couple of seconds of my time. So I think I'll be fine tomorrow.
Domingo Duarte racing for Mario's Marine takes 3rd place in a time of 39.22 seconds.
I'm very happy with that. Reason being is I'm driving a different boat. It is actually a 2.5 boat that we put the 2 litre on. And the boat's running very well. I'm hoping I'd like to finish, either hold my position or finish better if I can.
Onto the top 2 positions, Robert Shepherd for Cedar Vadek in a time of 38.84 seconds.
Yeah, very happy with it again. Boat's going well, was going well. Happy with the 2nd place, but now we've got problems. A bit of a bump up at the top there in middling area. Well, we're coming for time trials, and I managed to park it on the bank to avoid Anton, and I've put a hole in the bottom of it.
Throwing down the gauntlet to the entire field again is Cedar Vadek pilot and championship leader Paul Shepherd.
Yeah, today the conditions have been superb. I mean, in practice it was going well. A little bit more wind on practice. That's why I think we messed up a little bit on the weight. Qualifying was no wind. We could have probably dropped a bit of kilos. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the race tomorrow. I've never won in PE. It's always been a different race for me. So I'm hoping to do well and get a podium finish tomorrow.
A clear but windy day down in Port Elizabeth, and onto the riders' briefing, and this is the moment when the law is laid down and the rules are fully understood before racing gets underway. Heat number 1 about to get underway as the safety crews get them ready. Number 1 and 9 of the Cedar Vadek boats in positions 1 and 2, and we are on board with Anton de Jager. Flags are down, and it's a race down to the first turn buoy, which is the Sedgers hole shot buoy. They'll then head on to the second one, and then the race will be on for its first lap. Cutting from right to left is Anton de Jager trying to jostle for a better position. Through the first hole shot buoy is Paul Shepherd in the Cedar Vadek boat, and starting into second is his brother Robert Shepherd. Remax boats take up 3rd and 4th. Alexander Jager ahead of Anton de Jager. We're back on board with Anton, and you can see the spray coming off Alexander's boat, and now he's having to play catch up. The top 2 or 3 are getting away, and Anton de Jager having to work hard after not the best of starts, and now he's having to play catch up. He's right behind Alexander Jager. He's moved on to the left-hand side, approaching the Remax buoy. Anton de Jager on your right of the screen, and he's on the inside. Eldon de Jager goes wide, and I think she is suffering badly from some previous memories of Benoni's race where Anton drove right into her. Back on the plane, the Remax boat on the right of your screen, and on the left, powering in third and fourth. Domingo Duarte for Mario's Marine back in fifth place, boat number 7. The yellow flag is out and there's an incident on the course. We hope it's not serious. And it's not too serious. It's just Andre Kemp Jr. taking out one of the buoys. That's the yellow one. That must be the Mario's Marine buoy. Racing is still underway and a good race on for 6th and 7th place. Sonja Brits in 7th, boat number 6 for Dixon Batteries, and she's chasing and catching Clifford Momberg for Team Chilenge. Now around the non-existent Mario's Marine buoy that's been taken out. And we can see on the left side of the screen that buoy is still hanging on very precariously onto Kemp Jr.'s boat. And finally it lets go, but unfortunately right in the racing line. As soon as that sinks, we should be back on a full green race course. And back again with Anton de Jager for Team Remax. He's now up into 3rd place and chasing hard after Robert Shepard in the Cedar Vadek boat. You can see the spray coming off the boats as they brake. Well, they don't really brake, but slow down and turn very hard around the turn buoys. And there's the number 3 Remax of Anton de Jager. Coming back towards us, Robert Shepard with the yellow cowling on top of his boat for the Cedar Vadek team. In 2nd place, still chasing after his brother and championship leader, Paul Shepard. Anton de Jager, try as he may, he's closing the gap, but it almost doesn't seem quick enough. And back onto the race for 6th and 7th, and Sonja Brits goes by Clifford Momberg. She's now up into 6th place, riding boat number 6. And the winner is number 1, Paul Shepard, extending his championship lead. 2nd place, Robert Shepard, making it a 1 and 2 for Cedar Vadek Paints. Anton de Jager pulling one back for Team Remax. And 4th place will go to Elzaan de Jager, making it 3 and 4 for Remax.
So Paul Shepard's dominance continues. A 1-2 for Cedar Vadek. Anton failed to counter Robert, but a great drive for Elzaan.
Yeah, I must say I had a very good race. I had a superb start. And yeah, everything just went 100% for me.
Right, so you had a moment there with Anton?
Yeah, he came on my inside and I decided to make space to him. I'm still a bit scared, you know, when Anton approached me on the inside, because at the Benoni race he also came on the inside. There wasn't enough space and he bumped into me. So yeah, I still have to overcome that fear.
A good race, you were on the pace, but what happened at the start?
I don't know. I think I struck the button first. I was expecting to have a good start. The prop was cavitating too much. I trimmed it down, trimmed it back up, I dug in. But at that stage, all the boats was in front of me. So I took the short line on the inside, managed to hold 2 positions that way. And yeah, so the rest was me just trying to get hold of Elzaan first. She was very fast out the blocks. Eventually caught up here and then started chasing Robert. So yeah, that was my race, just chasing Robert. Managed to catch up, had a couple of good chances, made the wrong decisions. But yeah, very good race, looking forward to the next one.
Robert, 2nd place, are you happy with the result?
Yeah, very happy. Good race. Anton was catching me quite quickly when I got into the back markers. But it was a good race, enjoyed it. Just need to start chasing Paul now.
Yeah, today the conditions are a bit windy, but managed to hold the boat. Just not riding the boat flat out because it's very windy at the top corner, so the boat keeps on lifting. But good race all in all. Good for the team, first and 2nd. So yeah, yes, hopefully we can do a double next heat and the 3rd heat. Next heat's a reverse grid, so it's going to be a lot more interesting.
Timmy, you were ready to go into the start grid. What happened?
Well, finally first we got in the boat to settle, major changes, and it looks like it settled. And then coming into the start grid, felt the steering suddenly go loose and felt that the cable pulley underneath inside the cockpit had pulled loose from the carbon fibre. My team's done a great job. They've gotten it back in now, so we can be back in for the 2nd heat.
Andre, out of heat number 1, tell us what happened to your boat.
Well, I run to lean actually on the motor and I blow the motor. My mechanic told me to open the motor before. I thought no, to take a chance, only do this race and then open the motor and check. But I think I didn't put a EFI test on, so that was the problem. I run to lean on the motor.
Hey Andre, I thought you were the pilot and the mechanic. But either way, back onto the racing program, and added in for the day's entertainment is the inflatable race. Very often the Formula One powerboat pilots take a keen interest in watching the behavior of these boats before their next race, and that allows them to make any fine adjustments that they need to make. Over the years, a good number of Formula One powerboat pilots have come from the inflatable racing ranks, and the reason for that is that it gives them a good grasp of racing conditions. Getting ready for race number 2 in the day, and the wind conditions here in Port Elizabeth still remain pretty dangerous for the pilots. Boats now starting to launch, and in a few moments we'll be underway. Under starters orders with the green flag up, and as it drops, we are underway with a reverse order start. This time the person finishing last starts in pole position 1. Back on the boat of Anton de Jager for Team Remax, and his teammate outgunning him. That's Alexander Jager ahead of him. The charge of the carbon fiber brigade down to the first turn buoy. Oh, and Anton de Jager, something's gone wrong there, and a collision. Something has happened there. He's driven into someone, or someone has driven into him. That's our camera on board, and it is Clifford Momberg for Team Chilenge. We don't know what the extent of the damage is, but the rescue crews are on scene very quickly. These rescue crews, by the way, are very, very specialized. They deal only with Formula One powerboats and have been a tight-knit unit for about 4 years. Anton de Jager on the Team Remax boat, and you can see the damage done there, and the remaining damage to Clifford Momberg's Team Chilenge boat. Anton, a weekend that started good, then went to bad, and finally to worse.
Yeah, it's bad luck. Caused by myself this time. I knew there was going to be some issues on the start. Starting off, I saw that my fuel gauge was only 27. It should be 50 something. That's why I had the bad start initially as well. So I knew I was going to get some spray. So what happens? The other boats move forward about 1 to 2 meters, and you end up getting spray from both sides. We had the onboard camera on there, and there'll be some footage on there of the same thing. So going around the first corner, I had spray for like 3-4 seconds. It opened up. We turned around the buoy. I had another 3-4 seconds of spray, and yeah, I heard a bang. So what I normally do is, or what we do is, once you get spray, we make half a turn on the wheel, keep your foot flat, you can't stop for boats coming from behind you, make half a turn, and wait for the spray to disappear. I'm assuming that the rough water flung me more than I anticipated, and I end up cutting in front of Clifford, which as you see just struck me on the side. Yep.
Yeah, well, I came around the buoy. It was right on the start, and I came through the spray, and I just saw Anton right in front of me. Don't know actually what happened. I think he might have turned in front of me.
Back onto the restart of heat number 2, and Brendan Kelly for Team Remax is climbing out of his boat, and it looks like he's not going to be racing. We'll try and find out what the problem is. A reverse grid start again, but this time -3 of the boats, so we got a much reduced field heading down towards the first turn buoy, which is the Sedgars yellow buoy. Around turn number 1 again, it's the Cedar Vadek boats of Paul Shepherd and his brother Robert Shepherd. Timmy Featherston getting an incredible start. He's been struggling all weekend with that boat's handling, and finally it looks like he's got it together. Robert Shepherd chasing hard after Paul Shepherd, and the blue boat in the background is Timmy Featherston. That looks much better from the ex-Peter Lindenberg protege. Third place is what he said he's more used to, but he says he wants to be fighting with the pilots up front. Paul Shepherd takes the turn, still in first. Oh, cowling has come off Timmy Featherston's boat, and just when it was looking good, that's going to affect the handling and the aerodynamics. Heading back towards the camera, around the dogleg buoy, which is the Dixon Batteries buoy, Alexander Jager for Team Remax. Behind her, it is Domingo Duarte, who's slowly closing on her lap by lap in the number 7 Mario's Marine boat. Domingo Duarte having a slightly indifferent weekend. We now look back off the boat of Andre Kemp Jr., who is in a good position in the lights category. And you can see how the boat's whole hull moves. There's a lot of force and power being transmitted through that boat. Back onto our race leaders, and heading towards us in the Cedar Vadek paint-sponsored boat is the reigning champion and championship log leader, Paul Shepherd. He's really taken this championship by the scruff, and he's got a 100% victory record. And Timmy Featherston has come to a stop in the middle of the lake, and we've got news that is a broken battery clamp on there. And the news on Brendan Kelly is that he has also had battery problems. And around the Remax turn buoy for the final time, it is race winner Paul Shepherd for Cedar Vadek and his teammate and brother Robert Shepherd in second, with Alexander Jager for Remax in third.
In Heat 2, Cedar Vadek again dominant. A great race for the ladies. Elzan's good day continues, and Sonia closing in with a 5th place finish.
Elzan, it's just getting better as the day goes by.
Definitely, yeah, my boat was flying in the second heat. I did really, really well. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the last heat.
Robert Shepherd, another second, but a close call going into turn 1 with your brother.
Yeah, a little bit close. I thought I wasn't that close. Paul thought it was close. It's good racing. His experience is obviously telling. But we're getting there. I've had a good day. Enjoyed it. So we'll see what the last heat brings.
Yeah, that was a more interesting heat, as I said, reverse grid. I mean, I went to the first turn with my brother. We almost bumped each other in the top turn, which makes it a bit more interesting. But yeah, it went well. The boat's really going well now. Just hope I can do it in the third heat. And very good to my brother for coming second again. It's going good for the team.
Between the heats, the crowds were once again entertained to some filling programs, such as the remote-controlled powerboats. Now, these things are running with little petrol engines, and they can get a good turn of speed. As well as some freestyle jet ski riding.
Inside the motor for that stunt.
And onto the mouse boats. These are boats that have places for 2 pilots in there. One is normally the instructor, the other one the pilot. But a fair number of them missing from the lineup today due to being invited to a cycle race in Port Elizabeth. These mouse boats get their name from Mickey Mouse. They originate out of Disney. They're very stable, safe, and a whole lot of fun. Heat 3 about to get underway. It's the final heat of the day. A crane was brought in to help speed up the loading of the boats into the water, as it's a very small jetty area. Lined up, fired up, and on the way down to the first turn, set gears buoy. Paul Shepherd for Cedar Vadek paints off with a great start once again, and now facing backward off Robert Shepherd's boat. That's the camera that was on Anton de Jager's boat, which is no longer taking part in the event. On the left-hand side, Timmy Featherston Hall racing for WAP and DNA Timbers. He's part of the Cowie racing team, has slotted into second place. Now the gauntlet has been thrown down, and I think Paul Shepherd has got an unknown anomaly coming his way in this race. Down to third place in an unfamiliar position for him in